After more than 2 weeks of searching, police say a very specific anonymous tip led detectives back to this abandoned elementary school where they uncovered a shallow grave in the woods with remains that they believe to be those of Kada Scott. Now, the medical examiner, of course, is working to confirm the identity, and investigators are in touch with Scott's family. Now, keep in mind, this is the same location where officers say they found her debit card and phone case last week during that search. Meanwhile, attention is back on 21-year-old Keon King, the man already arrested in connection with Kada's disappearance. You see him there. Police say that he was previously charged in another alleged kidnapping back in January, but of course we know he walked free after posting cash bail.
It's been a very terrifying few days since the world found out that Kada Scott disappeared and her remains were found in an abandoned schoolyard. A lot of reports have been flying out of the gate about what happened to her, and the police recently held a press conference to separate fact from fiction. But the information they put out there wasn't exactly what we were expecting.
And they believe that she did not leave with him willingly. The suspect is being held on a $2.5 million bail, expected in court for his preliminary hearing next month. All eyes on this and whether he will have additional charges. Of course, authorities are investigating.
Police confirmed that ever since Kada Scott's remains were found, Keon King, the main suspect, turned himself in. Keon has been hit for arson, conspiracy to commit arson, and car theft. But people couldn't help to notice that out of all the charges the police were reading, the unaliving charge wasn't there.
A second case has already been approved, and we expect there to be a new arrest today, in all likelihood, of Keon King when he is brought in from the jail. The arrest will be for burning of a car, arson, causing catastrophe, conspiracy, several other charges.
They are yet to dock him with the M charge for the part he played in Kada's passing. And the police are not yet ready to charge him for that, and it shows that there's something else that we're not seeing. And now there have been talks that the anonymous tips police are receiving are pointing to an accomplice who helped Keon commit those crimes. And this accomplice was both friends with Kada Scott and secretly seeing Keon on the side. So was Kada Scott set up? And was this a premeditated attack caused by a love triangle? We're gonna break it down. When Kada Scott went missing in early October, her friends and family knew something wasn't right. She wasn't the kind of girl to vanish without a word. She was vibrant and known for her bold personality and her soft spot for people, even when they didn't deserve it. And one of those people, turns out, was Keon King. The two had a complicated relationship, and one thing we know for a fact is that Kada and Keon have been in contact up until the very day that she disappeared. A couple of messages they exchanged were quite flirty and intimate, but the one that got the police suspicious was a message where Kada asked Keon to kidnap her again, and Keon replied, "Better be up too." Within hours of the exchange, Kada was gone, and Kada going missing made headlines immediately. It didn't go viral simply because she was a black girl who had gone missing in the Philadelphia area. Kada's case got media's attention because she went missing at her job, where she worked at a nursing home, with surveillance and attendance, and clocked out early without anyone noticing.
I heard about this, right? I asked my baby dad, I said, "Did you hear about this girl missing?" He said no. I told him, he was like, "Well, what makes her case so special? Like, why is she all over the news? Is she a missing person?" Now I think about it, like, you're right. There's so many missing black girls. Why did she get all this media attention, right? I'm scrolling on TikTok, no bullshit. You really can't make this shit up. And you got to connect the dots. When it's messages, it's for a reason. I'm scrolling on TikTok and I see somebody say, everybody trying to figure out why this girl's missing, why she gets so much media attention when a whole bunch of black girls go missing. It's because she went missing at her fucking job. That is exactly why. You wanna know why? They trying to figure out why the fuck she clocked out early where she's at.
So days turned into weeks, and the search for Kada stretched across Philadelphia. Her loved ones refused to give up. Flyers went up everywhere, and police spent 2 weeks searching for her and kept hitting one dead end after another, and they were on the verge of giving up on the search until an anonymous phone call came in. And just keep that in mind, because this call literally changed everything. During that call, the tipster told police to go to the vacant Ada H. Lewis Middle School. Now, the police had previously searched the school and didn't find anything, but the anonymous tip claimed that they would find exactly what they were looking for in a forest behind the school. And they found exactly what they were looking for. Kada's remains were found buried in a shallow grave, and it took DNA testing to confirm that it was actually her. The autopsy also ruled her death to be a homicide, but that unraveling was just the beginning of a nightmare. Investigators quickly zeroed in on 21-year-old Keon King, who was already known to law enforcement. They noticed that his phone pinged in the same area as Kada's phone shortly before hers went dark. Detectives also traced his travel history between Rodney Street, where Kada worked, and Belmar Terrace, where Keon lived. They also obtained surveillance footage showing a man matching his description moving a large, heavy object believed to be Kada's body towards the burial site. Reports show that before Kada's disappearance, that he had already been linked to a kidnapping case involving another woman. That case was still pending when Kada vanished. But before the police could go out and arrest him, Keon turned himself in, saying that he was responsible for her kidnapping, but never admitted to unaliving her. And now that the puzzle pieces are falling into place, the police revealed that the surveillance footage that they got didn't just show one person. Now, there have been speculations that investigators noticed two people near the scene. The second individual's identity wasn't clear, but the frame of the person was enough to make them suspect that it was a woman. And the moment people heard that two suspects were involved, social media filled in the blanks. It isn't even a rumor, because someone who claimed to be a friend of Keon named Gabby confirmed that she was the one who gave Keon Kada's address. She claimed that giving up Kada's location was the only thing she did, and was just as surprised to find out what Keon did. And since Keon already turned himself in, she didn't see any reason to call the cops and tell them what she knew.
So one day Keon calls me, and keep in mind I am in school, I am in Maryland, and he will usually just call me, just to check up and talk. So he calls me and he asks me if I know Kada. And I'm like, yeah, I know Kada. And he's like, oh yeah, I noticed that she lives really close to you. I'm like, yeah, she lived right in the back of me. And I'm not thinking nothing of it, because he usually calls me and, we just be chatting. He'll call me about the people that be around, because he is the pharmacist. I live in the neighborhood and he be in my neighborhood. So we hang up the phone, and that was that. We were only on the phone for 29 seconds. There was no reason to call the cops. He already turned himself in, and I felt like it would be kind of a waste of time to tell them that the guy that they already have in custody, called me and was asking about the girl. And me personally, I'm not a cop caller. I don't call the cops. That's just the way that I grew up. That's what I was around. They will always tell me, you don't call the cops. So I just felt like, the information that I had, and the fact that, I'm just not really a cop caller, it wouldn't make sense for me to call the cops.
But Gabby is starting to look more and more guilty as the days pass. Basically, there's a video going around showing Gabby wearing Keon's hoodie, and despite her claims of not knowing about Keon's past crimes, word is that she knew exactly what was going on. Also, people who knew Gabby from her time in Philadelphia are claiming that she's been arrested for some of the same things that Keon got in trouble for. Even the text from Gabby's mom proved that she had a run-in with the law, and she was running around with Keon. And that is why the police are taking their time before charging Keon for unaliving her, because if Gabby or any other woman really did play a part in this, it changes the case entirely. And people are hoping that Kada gets some justice, because there are just way too many Black girls going missing and ending up unalive with no answers and no justice. This man was a known menace, arrested multiple times for assaulting women. He was allowed to bail out into the streets, where he promptly abducted and murdered 23-year-old Miss USA hopeful Kada Scott. No more kings. Imagine we all trying to figure out where Kada is, who might have done it, and this little bee Gabby knew that boy asked about Kada and was encouraged by her best friend to go tell the cops whatever she knew, even three-way the cops, and she chose not to say a word. Somebody jumped that hoe. And one last person said, so Kada Scott is dead. That's infuriating. It's tragic and sickening. Her killer was just tried for a similar crime but let go because the witness didn't show up to court. So they just gave up, and here we are. But what do you guys think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because we're going to keep covering every bit of this story. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.